Hello, my name is Ola, and I'm going to be right into the exhausting world of making a Caddicarus video by Caddicarus. And yeah, I just heard, well, I didn't exactly just hear it. Like, I know that, Caddy finally has 1 million subscribers. Like it's really great. Like, I'm happy for him. He deserves it. It's like, man, like, it took this long for him to finally get 1 million subs. I think he should have got 1 million subs like a long time ago, honestly. But yeah, like, I can't imagine, like, Jesus Christ, all the hard work he has to put in, his videos, with, making a script, editing, everything. Like, anyway, yeah, let's check it out. If you want to like, comment, subscribe my channel, you can if you want to. That's fine too. Well, here we go.
Oh, shaky pocket.
One day, Caddy got a text, and the text was on his phone, and it came from his other phone, so he went to find his other phone, and it wasn't upstairs phone, and perhaps it was at the front door.
Ah! Phone! Nice to see you! How you doing? Come on in, I've got something to show you. This is my hallway. You can fit maybe 3 people in here. These are the black squares on the stairs. I've got a bit of a thing for black squares. And this is the regret glass. Oh no. This is where I, And this is where I film. Hi. I like you. You know that situation when you've been posting YouTube videos for 10 years, and then 8 years into the job, you end up having to look for other work because even though you have 700,000 subscribers, your channel is practically dead, and so in a last-ditch effort to save it, you change your entire video style and then accidentally revive your channel with the highest viewing figures it's ever seen in its last 10 years? We've all been there. Well, that happened to me, and now we're at a point where I'm creeping up to 1 million subscribers, which is insane. In fact, by the time this video goes up, it might already be at 1 million subscribers, and if that's the case... Shut up. I never started this channel with the intent of it going this far and for this long, but you know how it is? Once a new avalanche starts, you can't exactly stop it, and instead of running away from it, I decided to grab a surfboard and be a big dude. Ever since my channel started properly taking off at the start of 2020, I've had at least 4 people ask me, how do you do it? Where do you do it? Why do you do it? Can you do me? So I figured, to fill in some time before my giant 1 million subscriber video, that I would spend a bit of time showing you how I do these things, while answering a load of commonly asked questions at the same time, and then presenting to you a brand new, exclusive Caddicarus segment that I will be making during the making of this video, showing you how I make the video where I make. And to start off by answering one question I get all the time and answer it immediately off the bat, do I learn all of my lines off by heart before going into making a video? No. I read them as I go, remember the lines basically right before the take, and then just give it a big old go.
Whoa.
It's a new day.
I usually wake up in here.
I wash my body, wash my mouth, come downstairs, avoid my partner's prop-making department with eyeless heads
Oh.
and limbs baby limbs everywhere. Ignore the rest of my family and head to the office. This here is the nerve center. Basically, whenever anybody asks me, have I played this new game? Have I played this old game? Have I seen this new show? Have I seen this new movie? Have I had fun? Then most of the time, my answer will be no. No, it's not because I don't want to or anything. It's because I genuinely spend about 80% of my time in this room getting work shit done. The other 20% delved out between family stuff, streaming, and, you know, just day-to-day living. This here is my house within my house. Now, depending on the type of video I'm working on, the prep work will slightly differ, but for the sake of today's demonstration, I'm going to show you what happens if I look at a game. For many of the topics I cover, i.e. Disney games, DreamWorks games, etc., I'll usually start by jumping on Google to see what games I can find under that umbrella. If I don't have it, I go on eBay, and a lot of the time, I end up starving my children. But if I do have it, I'll go over to the shelves and pick it out. And for today, we're going to be having a look at Family Feud on the PlayStation. Now, the main thing I try to get across in my videos is just goofing off. I do not go into any video nowadays with the intent to review something seriously or critique it in depth. If you're looking for that, there's so many other better places that you can go. Like The Times. And I have to say this because when looking at a video game in particular, for this example, first of all I take the packaging and I look at the front, the back, the inserts and the disc, and all I do when I'm looking at this stuff is look for things that make me laugh. And it can be something that's just funny on its own, like this wacky bitch, but other times I look at things that aren't considerably funny on their own, but then think of a gag involving it, or think of something funny around it. Basically, I am not interested in looking at any of this stuff seriously. I'm just here for the jokes.
Is that why they fired me? I don't know how to tell you this, but your son has passed on. Through the police station, he's just in the cafe. Hey Billy, come back, your mum's here!
Either way, something that I end up doing a lot is making notes. Note-taking is probably the third longest process of a video behind filming and editing. For work specifically, I use my iPhone and a 2022 MacBook Pro, which are synced with each other 24/7, meaning that if I can think of any last-minute gags, or I don't have either the MacBook or phone nearby while doing something else, I can add and remove notes for videos literally any second of the day, no matter what I'm doing, which can get a little awkward during meals out.
Yes, that's how I'm gonna kill myself.
And people often ask me how I come up with some of the stupid shit in my videos that has little to do with anything, and the answer to that is, if I see someone walking down the street that makes me laugh for whatever reason, I write it down. If a family member does something stupid or says something weird out of left field, I write it down. If I see a name in any context that makes me laugh, I write it down. If an event or memory pops into my head and makes me go all puffy face, red cheek, ho ho ho,
Green Giant,
then I just write it down. Whatever around you in the world makes you laugh, write it down. Except if it's other people's jokes or published writing, that's illegal. I'm talking more about original ideas that spring into your head based on things that happen around you, in the world as it is. Even if it has no context, means nothing to nobody else, doesn't even make much sense to you, even when you look it back, it doesn't matter, because you'll be surprised how frequently you'll be able to take those notes and bring them forward to make it relevant to what you're talking about. It doesn't matter if I use it soon or if I use it in 2 years' time, the point is that it's there, and I can always refer to it if I need to. After the initial judging a book by its cover note-taking, we head off to the living room to play the game and record it.
So what are we waiting for? Let's go!
This is my other nerve center. This is where I record game footage, film sofa shots, stream whenever I get a second. Basically, I spend most of my life in between a gaming chair and a sofa, just like a real virgin. Now, for recording a PS1 or PS2 game in particular, this is how I do it. First of all, you should notice that this is an American game, and even though it is very easy to be mistaken, I am not an American.
Yee-haw, partner!
But that's okay, because I bought this custom slim PS2 on eBay by searching specifically for a hacked PS2, and this one plays any PS1 or PS2 game from any region at all. American, Japanese, Arctic, it will play them all no problem, so no need for emulation. We're getting the Family Feud experience raw. Oh yeah, by the way, this shot here, from the outside, it looks like this. Usually I would have all of this set up just one single time and then film every individual game I'm going to be talking about in the video back to back. But today, we're only going to be talking about one game, so I'm only going to be doing one shot. Also, my PS2 will refuse to read any discs unless it has this specific coffee mug sitting on top of it, about there. Yeah, it doesn't work unless it's had its coffee. It's just like a millennial. Now for the next question. How do I record gameplay? Well, come with me to behind my PC and I'll show you. No. Just by looking at this, we have set fire to another room in the house. The PS2 SCART cable is fed into the back of this device here, the RetroTink 5X, which is then hooked up by a HDMI cable into an Elgato HD60S Plus capture card, which is then connected by USB-C into my living room PC. You know, that one that basically created my first ever viral video. Yeah, that lovely prick. Am I going to fix this tangled disaster back here? No. Because fire hazards are exciting. Also, I'm pretty sure I've got a living colony of creatures growing back there, and I'm not about to kill them. Oh, look! Guys, look, there's one! There's one there! All of these other HDMI cables are for the other consoles and the PC itself. If I ever need to put another console on my TV or extend my PC display, I just swap out the labeled cable from here, and it works. I have a strategy down. Most of the time. What? This is why I don't stream, guys. And not only does it display whatever I plug into it, as long as my PC is on, I can record whatever I see on the TV. So that's pretty balling, isn't it? And yes, the video cables you use does matter. You need extremely solid, high-quality video cables, not only to make your consoles look as good as possible, but to even work with some of these upscalers in the first place. If you do a bit of Googling, I'm sure you'll find something. This one here, this one SCART cable was like £25 or like $35-ish. But that's nothing compared to the price of the upscaler, which is... There is a reason for the price, though. I've been through multiple retro console upscalers. Those cheap pieces of dirt you can find on Amazon, the Kaiko OSSC, the FrameMeister. But this is without a doubt the best one I have ever used. Not to mention, it requires minimal setup. You just plug it in and it works perfectly. All you need to do is set your own personal preferences while it's already working, and within seconds it'll be looking sharper than a hammer with a nail on it. And for those curious, with most consoles, you can just plug them into the capture card and start recording. But some aren't quite so nice. The PS4 and PS5, for instance, need you to turn the HDCP copyright protection off, which then allows you to record games, but then stops you from being able to stream on Netflix or watch movies, etc. And the PS3... The PS3 just hates you. It has copyright protection built in with no way to turn it off. So how I get about it is by channeling the PS3 HDMI signal through this specific splitter. And then that tricks the capture card into thinking the split duplicated signal isn't coming from the PS3 and instead from the duplicated split display itself from the splitter, which isn't copyright protected.
It's confusing. Don't ever make YouTube videos about video games.
Oh, and these cables here, these are for my GameCube. These are the official Nintendo component cables in order to make the GameCube look as crisp and as nice as possible for the upscaler.
And you can get one of these yourself for only... It's expensive. Don't ever make YouTube videos about video...
Right, so now we're at the part where less than 5% of the process is spent while having a career in video games. Playing a video game. Yeah, you may be shocked to hear that I don't actually spend most of my time sat around enjoying my whole library of twat. In comparison to the rest of the work making a video, this is the thing I easily spend the least amount of time doing. Either way, at this point, I sit myself down, grab my phone out or my MacBook from the office, depending on if it's doing something else in the background at the time, play the game, and make more notes.
With love from Spots.
Hello! James! I'm Spons! And today I'm here to be a corporate shill for Casetify, the excellent custom phone case company for whatever iPhone or Android you're using. Slim, protective, and stylish. But that's me! If you're looking for some new snaz on your phone, then there's no better option than Casetify. What with their endless design options, colours, and the ability to customise all of them with your own personal text. You can even fit your full YouTube username on them, like this. Caddicarus.
They support MagSafe and wireless charging. They feature antimicrobial coating to eliminate 99% of bacteria. They're all made with 65% recycled and plant-based materials. They're shipped to you in 100% recyclable packaging.
And when they deliver it to you, they'll even bring their own wood chipper so you can recycle yourself.
But what about people like me who like to deliberately drop their phones? Well, Casetify have you covered with the double-layered Chi Tech material. Their impact cases are safe to be dropped at 6.6 feet height.
Wow! I can't wait to drop it more!
And if you opt in for an Ultra Impact case, you get 4 extra corners to help your phone survive drops of up to 9.8 feet.
Does it work?
Wow. It still works. I was so worried I'd never be able to hang my phone off the end of a bench while I'm standing on it ever again.
So if you want some of this action yourself, make sure to go to casetify.com/today to get 15% off of your order. Thanks again to Casetify for sponsoring today's video, and if you don't go and buy anything from their website, I'll come out of your phone case and kill you. So yeah, those are the sponsored segments. Forgot to talk about them, didn't I? But yeah, honestly, that's just another part of the process. Usually, a sponsor will reach out to me and my agents months before any kind of video goes live, and then depending on what I'm doing throughout the year, I will try my hardest, depending on what sponsor it is, to work that sponsor into the script or the topic of the video. If it syncs well enough, then we'll try and make it work. Also, yes, I get a lot of offers, and also, yes, I do turn some of them down. In fact, a lot more get cancelled and turned down than actually go through. Also, fun fact, it's actually written in my agency's contracts that Spons, the sentient talking kite with a face, fingers and shoes, has to appear to do the ad read. Yes, it's a legal stipulation. I'm not joking when I say that.
What?
That kite is more powerful than you could possibly imagine.
Anyway, where were we? Yes, at this point, I sit myself down, grab my phone out or my MacBook from the office, depending on if it's doing something else in the background at the time, play the game, and make more notes. Did I tell you I make notes? I make notes. If you do this, you'll make notes. You'll be making a lot of notes. You will be such an expert at taking notes that you'll end up being the head of a note camp. You will be so full of notes, you'll be a concerto.
What will you be noting down, though? Well, for me, basically anything stupid that happens and that's worth talking about in the video. Also very important, with timestamps on when each stupid thing happens in relation to the footage that you've recorded. If you don't do that in the noting process, you are going to waste hours in the editing booth, trust me. I mostly look out for things that make me laugh, but I also try and write down dumb or creative ways that I can try explaining why I like something or don't. Which sounds like I'm going into a review mindset, but trust me, I'm really not, because if I was, I'm an insult to good reviewers out there. I feel like I only ever explain the mechanics or visuals of a video game, just for instance, only to emphasize a joke or the conclusion to the segment on whether I liked it or didn't, and then I just like to trash it and forget it and move on to the next thing. For me, I feel like it's very base level.
That's why you'll notice that most of the individual game segments on my massive videos don't tend to last more than like 2 to 3 minutes tops. Not just because the video will end up being 10 hours long if I went into depth, but also because I just want to point and laugh at the thing, give you a ride through my personal experience with the game, usually with chronological moments, say if I liked it or not, and then move on quickly. If you can see what I see and hear what I hear with something that's so clearly, obviously terrible, there's only so much depth I can go into anyway, so in my opinion, with my videos, there's no point.
Also, I did try and do the whole look at me and my big important opinions, I'm old retro gamer, listen to me, I know what I'm talking about, youngsters, ho ho, I got journalist, big boy. I tried all of that stuff years ago and also tried to splice in jokes there, and whatever your opinions on those older videos are, for me, I don't think they've aged well in the slightest. I think there's a huge clash in video styles when trying to do the whole I've got an opinion I want to tell you and explain in depth why that is, and also I want to do Monty Python shit. I think that's way too much of a clash, and to put it bluntly, a few years of doing that kind of routine, structured kind of video and having to approach them exactly the same way and having them come out in more or less the same way and doing it week after week after week, it made me miserable. I tried my hardest, I put everything that I could into it, the passion was there, but you can only do so much in a week, and all I want to do is make sure that I'm entertaining enough to whoever's watching so that you don't quit the video and then don't run on the internet to try and dox me.
Right, so he played the game, made the notes, saved the footage, moved it to a USB drive, stood outside for a second to question if any of this was a good idea, fell over, copied the footage to the Mac, and now it's time to up the script.
Believe it or not, whenever I go to conventions, I think I get asked more questions about my scripting process than anything else. Which is weird for me, because when I spend my time dressing up in a cone-shaped bald head with an extended arm shirt and prop hands while calling myself Long Dennis, I think my audience has their priorities backwards. How do I structure them? How do I come up with the ideas? How do I stitch it together? How do I plan out everything? The honest but annoying answer is that I just sit here and write. That's honestly all I do. Obviously I have my notes for reference, but when it comes to the cutaways, extra jokes, sofa shots, intro segments, transitions between each thing that I talk about, all of that is up in here. And then I put it
Sadly, I'm not even joking when I say that either. I wish I could give you all advice or hints and tips about scripting or what I do with writer's block, but seriously, I just sit here and do. I can't explain it. I already have a rough idea on what I want to write and how I want to present it in a video before I do anything with the script. Ever since I started writing anything, even at school, that's just how I write, even until today. I proofread as I go, I fix mistakes as I go, I change things, remove things, and swap things out as I go. I suppose the only advice I could give anybody is to not get too worked up, except that you will not be a master of this on your first few attempts, and just let it all out on the page. If it sounds right to you when you write it, then it's probably right. Unless you write this, then maybe change it. And if your friends, family, or comments end up telling you that it isn't right, or not funny, or not informative, or whatever you're going for, then that means you just need more practice.
It's like anything. You get better at guitar the more you play, you get better at driving the more you drive, you get better at riding a bike the more you ride a bike. You know, explaining how fast you should bend your knees and stiffen your ankles doesn't really do much. Just go with the flow, don't be afraid to experiment and make mistakes, and then eventually you'll look back and think, God, I was shit. But then give it another few years and you'll look back to yourself at that point and think, God, I was shit. Having a creative job is basically a never-ending loop of getting incrementally better while also shitting on yourself, so I really hope you're into that.
Now, what do my scripts look like? They look like heroin abuse. How in the ever-loving Christ do I get anything done with a script structure like this? It's just a wall of text. Well, there's actually a reason for it, because while using Google Docs in Calibri font at size 22 in one continuous sentence with no paragraphs, for me, that roughly translates for my videos as 1 page per 1 minute of video, which does wonders in planning out how much time I have for filming, making plans away from work throughout the week, and just giving me a rough idea of where the video is actually going in the first place. Not to mention, when it comes to filming and recording voiceover, the way I write scripts actually massively helps me, because, you see, I color code every line on the script based on what needs to be done with that line or bodily action. For instance, no highlight means that I read the line as VO on my microphone like I'm doing right now. Yellow highlight means read that line on camera on the sofa. Purple highlight means read that line and do the action on camera away from the sofa, outdoors, indoors, or away from the house. Orange highlight means read the line as VO on my microphone, but film the relevant footage that goes on top of it. Red highlight means read that line in front of the green screen. And green highlight means insert a downloaded clip or gameplay footage in replacement of anything else to fill the gap. Why aren't the green highlights for reading the line at a green screen? Because After this, I take another quick read-through of the script from start to finish to fix or change anything, and then pay attention to all the colour-coded highlighted camera shots, because it's now when I start writing down all of the props and costumes I need, alongside venues I need to book for some shots, equipment I need to hire for some shots, etc. And then I go online to sort it all out. I have to make a few special orders here or there on specialist websites, and a couple of phone calls here and there, but Amazon is my usual go-to for most of my costumes and props because of how quickly it can be delivered. And this is a typical bill that will be racked up from all of it.
I am going to lose my house.
At this point, while waiting for all of the video items to arrive and waiting for the important filming dates in certain places, I then go into recording the microphone voiceover, which you are listening to right now, as I already said. And I have gone through many microphones in the past, but right now I use a Rode NTG3B plugged into my mixer and Madiface Pro. But honestly, you can get great results even with more budgeted choices. For instance, I have used the Audio-Technica AT2020 USB mic from 2012 up until around 2018, and I even dabbled with the Shure MV7 USB mic for a few years. It depends heavily on how you record your audio and how you finalize and export it. For the recording process, I'm in the most sound-isolated part of the house with minimal echo,
which luckily enough is my office.
I've got some really thick and dense, high-quality acoustic panels for the wall here to stop the sound bouncing off the walls. I've got a pop filter here to stop my P's and my B's blowing out the input of the mic, and I've got a shock absorber here to reduce vibrations coming from the floor or the shelf or wherever the microphone is attached, and I usually, personally, use a radical telephone between my mouth and the mic when I talk. For mic volume input or mic sensitivity, I keep it as low as I can to stop my shouting voice from peaking and distorting the audio, but keep it high enough to capture my quieter talking. It takes a little bit of fiddling, but what I find is that the sensitivity always ends up being pretty low to avoid hissing and background noise. This does mean after I finish recording that I will barely see my quieter voice segments on the wavelength while my shouting looks like a snake swallowed a bowling ball, but that doesn't matter, because at the end of the session we'll be boosting, equalizing, normalizing and compressing it to try and make it all as much the same bass volume as possible. And now you're ready to be a milkman. I record all of the video's lines in 1 or 2 sittings depending on the time of day that I start, and to give you a rough idea on how long that might take, a 1 hour long Caddicarus video may take me probably 3 hours-ish to record in one go, while my feature-length accessories video took about 5.5 hours. Why yes, I did want to die, thanks for asking. Every mistake is kept in and there's no stopping or starting with the recording so that it's all one big audio file ready to be cut down for the edit later. For now, I just read it all out and worry about the logistics later. And this is another reason why my scripting style helps me personally, because when reading the lines directly from the script, I know from just a glance at the screen what needs to be recorded on the microphone and what's being filmed, so I can skim through it to the next important bit of VO in seconds, guarantees I don't miss anything important, and records it all chronologically for the video edit. Okay, it's been a few hours and now I have a bit of a headache. So we should start exporting the audio down. Now, when I used to edit on PC, I used this great software called Magic's Music Maker and fiddled with all the preset drag and drop effect racks until I got the voiceover sound that I wanted. But nowadays I use Logic Pro for compression, EQ adjustment, noise removal, and normalizing. What settings do I use? There's no point telling you, because it depends heavily on your mic input sensitivity, the quality of your mic to begin with, how deep or high your voice is to begin with, how clear your voice was, background noise. So what I suggest is take all the settings and equipment you have and then look up tutorials on YouTube, or as I like to call it, Skillshare for free. So now my voiceover has exported, and it's here where my work schedule branches off slightly. Depending on the timings of what's going on, I'll either just wait for Ollie to appear so we can start the filming process if he's coming soon, or while I'm waiting, I can start cutting down the audio right now. And currently, Ollie's not going to be with me for a few days.
But I'm right here.
So instead, I'll edit down some of the voiceover until he gets here. I'll go into more detail about what editing software I use and all that jazz later, but for now, this is what I do. I plop the entire hours-long audio track into the edit timeline, start playing it back, cut out all the takes that are mistakes or are just plain shit, stitch the good takes together with the right comedic timing, and then... Oh, you weren't supposed to record me smacking my own bum. No, don't worry, these wavelengths are explainable and surprisingly useful. Just like my ass. You see, I tend to do this a lot while recording VO. And the reason for that is because those claps pop up really loud and clear on the audio wavelength during the edit, and let me know to split the audio file there and leave a gap, because another bit of sound, gameplay or video goes right there before the start of the next part of VO cuts in, which is extremely handy for when I have to edit down audio first and then fill in the stuff that isn't done later on. But even then, there's only so much of this I can do before I do need some camera shots. Where the hell is Ollie anyway? Who could that?
I'm Ollie. I'm Ollie. I'm here. Let's do this.
Yes, but before all of that, we need to go and get the bricks.
Oh no.
That was so good. Chair for the sprites. This here is the crash mat. This thing here for when you know, stuff falling on the floor.
Oh.
That's mud. Okay, so before we go into that room there, I just have a quick side note to mention about this trampoline here. So, in my Jesus Games video, there's one shot where I take a step off of one of the roofs of my house, which is actually over there. Where Stan is. I know, it's boring, isn't it? So I take a step off of that roof, and I needed something to catch me from falling and breaking my entire body. So the only thing I could order and have delivered here in time before Ollie got to me was this 14-foot trampoline. So I didn't buy it for the kids, didn't buy it for anybody. I needed it for one shot of that video, and now we've got a 14-foot trampoline. And here we are. Welcome to the den, everybody. Or, as it's more commonly known in this house, the dump. So I would say this is where all of my props and costumes are kept, but they're everywhere. Like, it's not even just that, but like, even like fake blood and all that. Like, all of that stuff is kept here. I would say it was kept here, but that's not the accurate way to describe it. I'd say they weren't kept and more shoveled. And if I ever come in here looking for a certain prop and then I'm like, oh, I swear I had one of these, where did it go? And I can't find it anymore. That's because I waste a lot of money. This here is the homemade, like, emergency green screen room. If there's an emergency green screen shot I forgot to do or I need to do, this is where it's done. The soundproofing isn't great, and also, yeah, that doesn't help either, but you know, sometimes you need a big steel barrel for a video, you never know. These lights up here are being diffused by a chef's hat. Around here is my beloved Roland TD50 drum kit, all electric. I used to do drumming videos a lot, but then YouTube decided, nope, you're not doing them anymore because it's gonna make you go bankrupt. So until YouTube changes its mind or I have enough spare time to just make a random cover of any song or whatever that I can do, I will definitely do it. But as you can see, I'm not really equipped to record anything in here right now. This is just my practice space. Also, I know that this here looks a bit weird. There used to be more posters here, but then I grew up.
That's it. You have an overactive imagination. It is time to grow up.
This goes, this. Look, clean this up!
The bricks.
Uh-oh! Hello. Oh, God. Oh, God. I'm a sailboat. The wind! No! This is it's so much more awkward than it looks. It's not the heaviest thing in the world. It's just very... Wait. No. Back hurty back. Hurty finger. Like a... No. Okay, now go again in the back door. Oh, Ollie, you have to use your hand. Well done. Yes, good man. We're in the house. It's upside down, isn't it? God damn it all! Right, now I've got to go up and around and then back in.
There you go.
And in. And then let's go fly a wall. And now we're going to be putting the brick wall behind the sofa. Now this is what we do here. First of all, this is the most important step. We use Sports Direct mugs. All right, lads. And we use two of these exactly, because they're just the right width and dimension. And then we pull the sofa back, shove them down there. Pull that back. And that just gives us enough elevation for the brick wall to be high up enough to be on camera. So then we grab the wall, and then we move the wall. How do we do this? There we go.
and then we balance it on the Sport Direct mugs. It didn't balance on the mug. There we go. Just like the footy.
There we go.
There we go. Sports Direct, go get more shorts.
Oh, by the way, totally forgot to mention, the camera setup itself. I use a Sony Alpha 7S III DSLR camera with a Sony FE 24-70mm lens. The microphone attached is a Rode NTG video mic, which is basically the camera-ready version of my VO mic, and a Westcott Icelite 2 on a weighted mic stand for emergency cool and warm lighting, or to guide ships away from the rocks and back to port.
And side note, this is the amount of camera gear and specialist equipment Ollie ends up taking with him in his car, ready for whatever shots need doing at my place. Stabilizers, drones, jibs, you name it, he has it. Oh dear, it's an improvised shot. So you're probably wondering, based on this shot I'm doing now, how much of the script is improvised, as in like when we go into filming, or when I do VO, how much of it is improvised. And I would say, if I had to wager a guess, about 10% is improvised, where the rest of it is solidly written down. But the improvisation can be from like different body actions or faces or noises I make or the way I say a certain line, or maybe on that moment when we hit go on the record button I think of something on the spot that's funnier than what I wrote down, to me anyway, or something will happen during a filming session that will make Ollie laugh more than what the actual line was, so we'll keep that in instead. So yeah, I'd say roughly 10%. 10% is roughly improv.
So now we've prepped the sofa ready for all of those iconic shots, but we can't film them yet because it's still daylight outside and we need total darkness for the sofa shots to look as good as possible. Meaning at this point we use the remaining daylight and dry weather to get outdoor shots filmed in random locations.
So come on mates, let's go ahead to the filming. Oh boy, away we go.
Now when we film out and about, it doesn't always end up being off campus miles away from my house, but whenever the sun is out and the weather is decent, we will just try and get any kind of filming done wherever, whenever we can. They can be just outside the front or back of the house, or even on the street. Yes, people see me all the time. Yes, I end up having to explain to the public what I'm doing. Yes, it's mortifying, and no, I can't run away and hide because I'm usually wearing high-heeled thigh boots or an inflatable post box. There's a ton of stories I have about being seen doing something messed up while filming in public, and I would be here way too long if I went into all of them. The Jesus video alone got some people's eyebrows raised so high that they flew off.
But just for one of the more recent examples, for the intro on my Crash Bandicoot bootlegs video, I leap over that fence from the back with my Crash Bandicoot costume on, and because I couldn't see anybody coming down the road here because I'm behind the fence and I have an obscuri mask on, and Ollie wasn't looking because he's obviously facing that way, filming me. What we didn't realise until we did one of the takes, which sadly wasn't saved because Ollie panicked and hit stop the second we realised what was going on, but one of the takes, I leapt over the fence, tried to do my struggling and say my line, and at that point I looked over to the front door, which is just there, and realised that there was a young woman standing there with her baby delivering us something through the letterbox. I think it was a Slimming World leaflet or something, but the face they made, I've never seen a human make that face before. If I had to compare it to anything, an angry lizard. And once we explained what was going on and that I was just in the costume and I didn't know they were coming and I wasn't trying to jump scare them and kill them or anything, they all calmed down. Not sure about the baby. Baby might be traumatized.
Oh shit! I was talking to you for so long, it's night time!
So off we set to the sofa, featuring bricks, hand-painted by my eldest stepdaughter, very well, I will add.
Aww.
And also, speaking of that, whenever you watch a video of mine and there's a hand that comes into the side of the frame because Ollie's obviously holding the camera, or I get hit by something, or something gets thrown at me, chances are it's either my girlfriend Caddicarus or one of her kids. They will never say no to a chance of trying to throw something at me. This is what you guys see. But for me, this is what I see. There's Ollie.
Ooh. Airbrush.
The iPhone camera doesn't really do this justice, but trust me, these lights are incredibly bright, and even though the exposure on the iPhone is really good and you can see Ollie back there, from where I'm sitting right now, I can't see him. He's hiding back there. I can see him clearly through my phone, but when I take my phone away, no, I can't see him. He is hiding back there with the same lens, the same camera, same everything. Why don't I use a tripod? Because he needs to make his money's worth. And also, I don't like the tripod look. For videos, I like a slight bit of handheld wiggle, I suppose. But also, the same microphone, like I mentioned, is there, but it's hanging from here. It's hanging from this microphone stand, or a boom if you'd rather, which is like a shit tree with no leaves on it. And possibly these lights here are the most important parts of the process, especially the sofa shots. These are KinoFlow Diva Light 31 lights, and they are definitely the most expensive parts of the filming process as well. Each one of these lights isn't only so ridiculously powerful that when I'm sitting on the sofa it feels like I'm staring into two separate suns, but they also come with thousands of color gradings and specific settings and effects that I use in my videos. Usually Ollie and I start filming these shots when the two youngest kids end up going to bed, because I'm not massively comfortable screaming some of the stuff I scream when they are looking at me while I scream it. That's typically around 11 PM, unless we can start earlier because the kids are asleep over or something, and we usually find ourselves filming these shots until about 1 AM, but sometimes even like 3 or 4 AM, because I keep forgetting my lines or the video is really, really damn long, and those are Ollie's favourite nights. Don't worry though, he does get paid, and he is fully aware of what he's getting into every single time he comes over here. He actually gets really well looked after when he comes over. He stays here for about 3 to 5 days, and he even has his own special place to sleep.
Now, if I hear you make any noises in the middle of the night, I swear to God you'll get the drill.
As you can also see right here, this is the other reason my MacBook is so useful, because... oh, look at that! The script is right there whenever I need to remember what to say or what props I need for certain scenes, and my stupid wall of text highlighting makes it super easy for me to skim through and see when the next sofa shots are. So I go down. There it is. See? Told you I wasn't nuts. Anyway, we've now finished the sofa shots, so all that's left for us to do now is tidy up. And when I say tidy up, I don't mean tidying up the camera equipment and stuff. I mean the various liquids that get spilled all over the place and broken shards of plastic left behind after a midnight romp. Excuse me! And once we've cleared up... time for bed! Good night, Ollie. Good night, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Now is the time where we repeat the filming days for as many times as it's needed before Ollie goes home. And then on the final day, as he makes his way home, he still can't escape me, because then I follow him back to the halfway point between his house and mine as we make our final stop in the filming process. Welcome to Mook, a multimedia filming space in Gloucestershire, which is where we do any of the green screen shots before the final edit. And it's run here by Andrew. Hi, Andrew.
Piss off.
And I know what you're gonna say, but Caddy, what about the back garden green screen setup with the pants on the ceiling? Well, that did work for me for a while, but this... not even in the same ballpark. I don't think I'll ever be able to compete with something like this while I live in my house anyway. So what I'm going to do with that space in the back garden is keep it for prop storage and stuff, but I'm also going to get it completely soundproofed and completely sound isolated so we can record instruments and other voiceovers. And I do have another idea for another channel that I want to make use of in that particular room in my garden, but it's not really developing yet, so don't listen to me about that right now. But there are plans, let's just put it that way.
And with that, we're done with the green screen.
Bye, Andrew.
After a 90-minute drive home, it's now time to go back over to my desk here, where I do the remainder of the work and run my human trafficking operation. You might be wondering how on earth I'm able to seamlessly move my MacBook from room to room and not have it totally shit itself with all the monitors one second and then none the next. And that's because I have one single cable here plugged into a Thunderbolt dock hidden under my desk that connects both of my monitors, my speakers, and any other USB device I need, like my microphone, mixer, mouse and keyboard. All I have to do is unplug this cable to continue working without those things, and then plug it right back in to carry on with those things like nothing happened. Seriously, this might be my favourite thing about the new MacBooks, and I usually hate books.
Now this is where we go into the full-on heavy editing process. Now, when I was on PC, my go-to software for over 10 years, even since I was at school, was Vegas Pro, and I still recommend it for its beginner friendliness. As long as you get the most recent version anyway, and as long as you have a powerful enough PC to run it properly. Nowadays though, I use this thing. Yeah, I know, it's a laptop, I get it. It's really thin and it barely weighs anything, but don't let it fool you.
This thing is a hulking beast. We film everything on this channel at 4K resolution, 60 frames per second, and with the M1 Max chip in this MacBook, not only does Final Cut Pro, which is the editing software I use, run all of the footage back through the preview window at its original resolution and original frame rate with 0 lagging and 0 pausing at all, but also it doesn't crash. Like, I get maybe 1 crash per week, and for any Vegas users out there, you would know that that is a miracle. And also 4K on Vegas, your computer just goes on fire, even if you've got the most powerful thing in the world. And look, there's no fan noise or anything. It's quiet, it's sleek, I love it. But yeah, the whole no crashing, no pausing, no lagging or anything in the preview window, that alone makes Final Cut Pro worth it for me. Now, I am not about to sit here and explain to you what I do in Final Cut Pro for my videos and how I do all the things that I do, because there are people online that dedicate entire channels to the inside outs of all of the kinds of editing software that you're looking at. I can't just sit here and explain to you all in one video or even multiple videos 10 plus years of Vegas editing experience and nearly 1 full year of Final Cut Pro editing experience, including the process I had to go through of stopping everything I knew about Vegas and relearning how to video edit for a brand new software and applying everything that I knew with Vegas into Final Cut. I pee my pants! But all I will say is that every single thing you see in my videos are all done through this software, aside from occasional jingle compositions that I do on GarageBand.
And of course, I can't forget to mention all of my other friends and business colleagues that have done things for me in the past, like my search engine optimization and tags and the title guy, and my thumbnail artist, and my animators for my intros that I've used, and the music that I've done, and the guy that animated my PC story video.
The on-screen text, the images, special effects, transitions, animations, masking, tracking, distortion, audio effects, all of that is made possible with this single software.
Oh yeah, and Photoshop. Kind of forgot to mention that one. I use a lot of Photoshop.
A policeman.
For pictures.
And to be fair, when I was on Vegas Pro years ago, I only ever used that on its own too. I've never gone into Premiere or After Effects, nothing like that. I'm a one software man. I'm very loyal to my women.
And then comes the ultimate question. How long does this all take? Well, for me nowadays, along with my personal life and how much more production goes into the videos compared to where they used to be, it takes as long as it takes. I know that's a really bad answer, but it's really the truth. If I can get one thing done a month, great. If I can get one thing done every 2 months, great. Every 4 months, fantastic. To me, it doesn't matter. I just want to make the videos the best they can possibly be for you to all want to rewatch and enjoy for their quality over their quantity. Some days I'll edit for 14 hours, some days I won't finish my edits until 6 in the morning, some days I'll just keep on working for like 36 hours in a row plus for the final crunch time, and sometimes I'll actually get a reasonable bedtime like a good boy, but there's no real clock on this kind of work. You just do what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, and however fast you can do it, especially if you have a sponsor deadline. Although if you want a rough idea how long these things can take to edit as a whole, here is a picture I took of the editing timeline for my 95-minute PS1 accessories video. This literally took me about 3 weeks solid to edit on its own, and initially I thought it was only going to take 1 week, so never underestimate your workload. It can really sting your little pee-pee.
But why don't you get another editor? Why don't you hire another editor entirely and stop editing altogether? Why don't you edit yourself to die and then die in real life? Well, you'd be surprised how many people reach out to me on my business email and on Twitter offering their services because of how tired I get and how I love complaining about it. But I'm sorry, that's never gonna happen. Ever.
But don't get me wrong, I really massively appreciate it. Thank you so much for looking out for me. You're all sweethearts.
At least for the main channel. I already have another editor, and that is Sir Toasty, but he only edits all of my stuff on my second channel when I do best of compilations of my Twitch streams. So I clip the Twitch streams myself, and then I send him all the clips throughout the year, which can be like 300 or so clips. It could be a lot. and he just gets me. He's on the same wavelength as I am. I don't need to direct him. I don't need to explain anything to him. He just gets what I'm looking for, my sense of humor. I just give him all the clips, and he stitches them all together into a cohesive story with stupid gags on top. He's really good at that, and I trust him for that. But when it comes to my own stuff, I just want to keep it to my own stuff. I am more than happy being a one-man show that writes, acts, and edits all on my own. Ultimately, only I know in my head how I want everything to be written, how I want the comedy to look, how I want the editing to be timed, how I want it to be edited in general. It's all preconceived in my head before I even start making it happen, and I just don't think I'd be able to communicate or direct that to anybody else without feeling like there was something missing. I wouldn't be 100% happy with it, and that's not good enough for me personally. If I got another video editor, I'd be spending more time trying to just explain to them what I want and directing them and having things sent to me and then sending them back with improvements or whatever the hell, more than just editing it myself. Especially now, since I've got all my keyboard shortcuts and mouse shortcuts set up for this software, and I can just jump in naturally and start editing without really thinking about it. And, oh my god, the Twitch streams. I forgot to mention the Twitch streams. They're another rick of a roll if I ever ricked a roll. Whenever I get a second spare and the technology gods are in my favour, this is what I do with my streaming. Here is my basic setup. So come with me, everybody, to my motion-activated light-up cupboard.
What I've got here is a Rodecaster Pro mixing desk for the microphones with effects and compression settings built in, multiple Shure SM7B microphones for whoever in the house wants to join in, and a Logitech Brio 4K quality webcam.
Then, when I grab it all to take it into the living room, once again I use the Elgato HD60S Plus for live capture on consoles and my PC. Trust me, it's a lot easier doing it this way than it is using direct desktop capture. I also have to unravel my 4K LG monitor here, and then I put it on the coffee table. Then I also have to unravel my Elgato Stream Deck, which is what I use for all my live stream effects, scene transitions, volume control, all that kind of stuff. Then I move that onto the coffee table. Then I come back over here and unravel this wire here, which I am not going to do right now because I don't think you guys have done anything to deserve watching me go through with all of that. And it used to be 2 headphones, but now it's just 1 single headphone. I cut the other one off to teach it a lesson. All of my stream alerts for donations, Twitch bits, subscriptions, gifted subs, all that kind of stuff, that gets fed through here, right into my ear, so that you guys don't hear an echo through the mic if it was coming from the TV speakers, and also means I can control the volume of this separately and mute it without interrupting the gameplay and stuff like that. And then I also unravel this cable here, which then immediately gets fed into the webcam, which I then plant on top of the monitor.
But I know what you're thinking. How does this look when it's all set up? Womp womp, here it is.
Welcome everybody to Cable Station. The next stop is more fucking cables.
It is an absolute mess, and not exactly ideal for de-stressing or unwinding, because whenever I stream, I have to set all of this up and remove all of it again before the morning, which would be fine and it wouldn't bother me. But if you've seen any stream of mine, then you would know that streams go wrong all the damn time for seemingly no reason, which gets extra deflating when things go wrong with no specific fix because of the half an hour it takes to get set up and check that everything is working to begin with. You guys wonder where I go for weeks on end? This is why. Because the shit doesn't work! It doesn't matter how good or powerful your equipment is, it will all break down eventually, most often when everything is already working perfectly, and then it all goes wrong the second you hit the big old go live button. And often you've got to sort it all out while broadcasting live, while concentrating on the game you're playing, while making sure to try engaging with the chat, while realizing you're slowly becoming a sadomasochist without any of the fun bum stuff.
This isn't... Oh, what? What's happened? I've frozen! Why have I frozen on that face? Stream! What have you done? What has happened to my stream? Why has it done that? Oh no, wait.
I love that you can hear his girlfriend laughing at him in the background. That's awesome.
Wait. What's happening? I can't fix it. Properties. Deactivate. Activate. Oh shit. Oh my god, the whole thing has broken. What happened? Why? Why did
did that happen? Why is that? Why? But the game has come back on screen, but it's like slightly nudged over to the right. I've got like a black border on the left. Oh my god. Right, Logitech Stream Cam. Okay, I'm back, but it's completely... Welcome to my high-quality stream, everybody. I'm a professional. What happens if I hit zoom in? Oh my god!
Don't get me wrong though, even though the job can be excruciatingly long and exhausting and stressful, especially when YouTube is constantly fighting with you, I wouldn't trade it for the world. Being able to create my own stuff in my own time, in my own way, with no bosses to speak up to, no higher-ups to report to, nothing being on the clock, I couldn't have ever imagined seeing anything better being in my life. Sorry kids, trust me, I am fully aware that I am in an insanely lucky position. I know this, trust me. And whenever I complain about any of this stuff online or on Twitch or whatever, it's because, hey, it's still work. It's a lot of work. And work can be annoying sometimes, especially when you do a lot of work.
I also forgot to mention the final video exporting and rendering, which can take multiple hours, and sometimes things go wrong or the software crashes and I've got to try again. Or if I have a final video, I have to then watch it all the way back and note any mistakes or any errors in the video or the render, which then means I have to go back to the edit and then re-render and re-export all over again. And there can sometimes be crashes, and sometimes the final video comes out corrupted, and you just got to keep trying until it works again. And then after you've got a final video, you've got to upload it to YouTube, and that has its own problems. Sometimes the uploading just gets stuck, sometimes the processing never works and you don't get it in HD or 4K, or sometimes it takes way too long to process, or there's content ID problems or copyright problems, and it's...
But anyway, this segment on Family Feud is officially done, so all I've got to do now is scan it with my Caddy wrist module. And now we're ready. Go.
Family Feud. It's either a game show or dinner time at your house. It's also known as Family Fortunes in the UK, because when we stole the game show for UK audiences, we thought that feud sounded too violent. No, that isn't a joke. For years, we always knew them as the Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles. Being British is a disease, survey says. Featuring Dave, Debbie, Roll, Sean, and... Oh, and well done for telling everyone that single player is okay, because nobody is going to want to play this with you. Rest in peace, Louis Anderson. I hope they paid you what you deserve to be printed onto a PS1 disc looking like an inside-out snowman. Let's get ready to stick the game in, then. Ooh, now the survey says... Oh! Oh, no, Louis. Oh, God, Louis, think about what you're doing. Stop! Please don't! No! No! No!
Hi, welcome to the Family Feud. You can go directly backstage and prepare for the show, or you can go to our Create Your Family selection.
Well, you know what? I've always wanted to create a family.
Nobody wants to do that with me in real life.
But sadly, I can't create one from scratch, so I'm just going to have to edit one, like... the Howler family. Hello there, Howlers. They are angry, they are ample, and they all live in a big hole. In this menu, you can edit each individual family member's appearances, so I've got to do them justice and make them all look like they really live inside the Grand Canyon. Perfect. They have a little inbreeding problem.
Ew.
She came out in her nice clothes. This is Dribble, this is Trout, this is Boyle, this is Phlegm, and this is Louise.
Yes, I'm happy with this. They all look suitably dirty and swampy. Although, to be fair, dirty and swampy is the only things that I could think about, because the sound effect that plays whenever you change one of their body parts is...
Oh.
Well, would you look at that? I made an entire family in 16 minutes.
I'm very fertile.
But how do they look going backstage?
Give them a hand. Family number one.
Time to start the game then. Let's play Family Feud.
If you don't know how to play...
Alright, question one. Here they come. Name something you wouldn't want your house to be close to. My ex. Alright then, no need to shame me, family number two. What kind of great answer do you have? Train tracks. Do you want me to call the Samaritans? This is the Family Feud PlayStation 1 experience. See a question, type in a decent guess, get it wrong, and then sit there for over 5 minutes waiting for your next go. I'm not even exaggerating, it really takes this long to have another go at playing the game. The computer players always say good answers and hog the turn for each of their 5 individual family members until you want to rip your nuts off. And by the way, for that question of something you wouldn't want your house near, river is a damn good guess. Who wants to live by a river? What about the floodplains? And the fish! But no, apparently that's way too out there, and now I run out of guesses and have to wait around for the next round while imagining what a loading family looks like. And then, if you get the answer right, and it isn't the most popular answer on the board, the question moves on to the computer family automatically, and at that point you're stuck waiting again until they screw up. Something that if you don't learn as a child, you'll never do it as an adult. Go to church! Do adults struggle to do this? Is this a skill you need to harness as a toddler?
If only I learned that as a child.
By the way, if you don't learn to read as a kid, you'll never learn when you get older. But if you don't learn to write as a kid, that's fine, don't worry, you'll figure it out.
Exercise.
Exactly.
Excellent.
Expanding! You know, the more I look at my family, the more I have to question why the hell they look like this. I have used nothing but legitimate customization options from the game's menus without any stupid adjustments, mostly. But why do their lips all have these disgusting rogue pixels? Why is this even happening? They all look like they have cake icing on their face. Are they all drooling? What are these crumbs of black sludge supposed to be? I didn't put them there. Something about commercial air travel that is worse than it was 10 years ago. Well, that's obvious. Security.
Is it there? Show us.
What? Well, that's blatantly not true. This game came out in the year 2000. A year later, 2001 happened, and then... You know, so security couldn't have been that good.
I don't know, what do the computer players think?
You never know what's going to be up there. Survey says...
By the way, all of these quick fades to black and quick fades back out whenever the camera angle changes makes me feel like I've got narcolepsy. And whatever you do, don't you dare hit pass when you have the chance to guess. Otherwise it means you're just waiting around doing nothing again for another 5 damn minutes. I'm not even trying to come up with funny answers because it isn't worth it. I just want to play more of the game and get one single point, but I just can't. On this question about what people put on top of their pianos, I said photos and it didn't go through. But then the computer players said pictures and it counts. How am I supposed to win this?
Hope you had fun on the feud. See you soon. Be good to your family. Remember, you're stuck with them.
Oh great, I came here to play a game, not a reminder on why I moved out. Seriously, man, how did we come out of this entire match with 0 points? 0 points! This isn't right! We're the whore family! Do I need to go backstage and do some favors? It took me 50 whole minutes to get through one single match of Family Feud, and I think I only physically played the game for about 3 of them. But by all means, if you want to get yourself more of that, be sure to visit games.com. I wonder what they have on that website. What's next? If I want to see a picture of a man, do I go to men.com? Oh. I mean, if anything, I do have to give them credit for sticking with a naming theme on the back of the box. Everybody's name here starts with a D. Dave, Debbie, Dead.
What? You thought I wasn't going to use the nail hammer that I invented? Oh dear. Oh, wait a sec. Yeah, it went through the hole. It went through the hole. Not in the table. It didn't go in the table. Now it's in the table. Shit! And then all you have to do is do all of that all over again another 20 times for each other game that you're going to be talking about, and then stitch it together all in one big video.
Yeah, poor Caddy. Jesus Christ, dude. Oh, Jesus. Try and get to the,
Stan? So, how's Brexit going?
Oh yeah, I feel sorry for Caddy, but at the same time, I'm proud of him. You know, he's doing his own thing, and it is good that his his fandom, like people have reached out, like, hey, like man, like I want to help you out, man, with editing, but I get it, he wants to do it his own way. Because yeah, I imagine it'd be a lot more work trying to explain to this person, hey, I want it done a specific way. Can you do that? And like having somebody else do that, like it's not going to be as funny or as good. That would be like a comedian going up to me and say, hey, tell my jokes, and me going up there and like I just suck. Like I'm not going to be as funny as the comedian who's more way like funnier than me, yeah, like man, can't imagine all that hard work, like, but at the same time, at the end it's worth it, yeah, because I was wondering about that, that Jesus shot, like it's pretty funny that he just bought that trampoline just for that specific shot. And now the kids probably use it, play with it, like, oh, thanks, Caddy, for getting us a trampoline, even though he did not get it for them, just for that shot. That's funny. But that is good, He's doing his own thing, his own way, and it's really good. And I'm glad that he finally got 1 million subs. Which, yeah, like I said, he should have gotten that a long, long time ago, honestly. Yeah, and dude looks like he needs an organizer, man, or a maid, somebody, because, my God, those wires, like, yeah, that's a fire hazard waiting to happen, dude. Like, yeah, that's it. That's my reaction to The Exhausting World of Making a Caddicarus video by Caddicarus. Everyone, take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.